George, where have you put St. Maximin?
Put him at Atletico Madrid.
Okay, so guys, today, me and my brother will take every club's best player and we're setting ourselves a challenge to see where that player will be in 5 years' time. So, in 2025, will that player be? So we're going to start with Arsenal because we're going alphabetically. And we think Arsenal's best player is Aubameyang. He's 30 years of age now, so I've put him as of a return to Borussia Dortmund. If Arsenal don't get Champions League in the next 2 seasons, it's very unlikely they're going to this season. And if they don't get it next season, I think Aubameyang's going to be too good for Arsenal and he'll want to be at a Champions League club. And he hasn't been linked with a return to Dortmund since he left there in the past, but I just think it could be a signing that could happen if Dortmund really liked Aubameyang, and he could return if Dortmund get into the Champions League, what's very likely to happen in the next couple of years. George, where have you put Aubameyang?
I've put him at PSG just because they like a striker, PSG, and their attack very good and as James said, Arsenal probably, if they don't get Champions League, Aubameyang will want to go to a Champions League club.
Okay, next one is Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. Jack Grealish has proved that he's a very good player, and he's basically proved that he's too good for Aston Villa. And Aston Villa, whether they go down or not, I think Jack Grealish will definitely be leaving. And I've put Leicester. I know he's been linked with clubs like Spurs, Man City, Everton, but I think Leicester, because I think James Maddison will leave Leicester, and Leicester will want a good replacement for James Maddison because of how good he is. So Jack Grealish, an English replacement for an English player. I can just imagine Grealish in a Leicester shirt. Where have you put him, George?
Put him at Tottenham, just because he's been linked there in the past. I think he'll be I think he'll play well for Tottenham, and he really wanted to go there last time he was linked with them.
Yeah. So next on the list is Bournemouth. So we've put Callum Wilson down, and Callum Wilson's been there since 2014. And if he's still there in 2025, then would have spent 11 years of that club. That's crazy. And I personally think, sorry Bournemouth fans, but I think Bournemouth will be halfway down the Championship in 5 years, as I think they'll get relegated in the next 2 or 3 seasons, then they'll lose a few of their best players. But I do think Callum Wilson will stay loyal like he has in the past by staying at Bournemouth. And he'll prove that he can stay at a club and stay loyal to Bournemouth. So George, where have you put Callum Wilson?
I've done the exact same as you. I think he'll stay at Bournemouth.
Yeah, so next on the list, it's Brighton. Gross. Gross will be 34 years old. Does anyone actually care where Gross will be in 5 years? I'd never heard of him before, last season or this season. So yeah, I don't know where Gross will be in 5 years. Not Brighton. Very likely sometime in the next 5 years, Brighton are going to get relegated. Very likely sometime in the next 5 years, West Brom are going to get promoted. So I've just put him at West Brom. Where have you put him, George?
I've put him at Watford. I think he'll be on the bench there just because he'll be 34 years old, and Watford, I feel they're the type of team to just get a player like Gross and put him on the bench.
Yeah. Next on the list is Burnley, and the player we've selected for them is Tarkowski, who's been called up for England before, and he's a decent centre-back. I've put him at Everton. Everton have obviously proved they can buy Burnley centre-backs in the past, like they did with Michael Keane. And yeah, Tarkowski sounds a bit like an Everton move, doesn't he? I don't know. But where have you put Tarkowski, George?
Leicester. A lot of these players have been linked there in the past, and I think they will end up actually there. So I think he's a really good centre back.
Right, next on the list, moving on to Chelsea. Last year it would have been really hard to select Chelsea's best players. They did have Hazard, Kante, but this season Hazard's left, so it's obvious that it's Kante. I've put Kante at PSG in 5 years, just because he's been linked with moves like Real Madrid in the past, I think. But I don't think he'll be there, but I also don't think he'll still be at Chelsea. George, where have you put Kante?
Real Madrid, as James said, he's been linked there. Hazard, Courtois, all both played for Chelsea. I think they've picked up loads of Chelsea's best players, and Kante is one of them, so I think they'll get him.
Right, next moving on to Crystal Palace, and there's basically one name that we can see here, Zaha. Zaha's linked with a move away from Crystal Palace every single transfer window, and he's always staying at the minute. He's got to move in the summer. He's been linked with Arsenal. I've put him at Arsenal just because he's been linked there. It's going to happen. If it's not Arsenal, maybe like Everton or Tottenham, just somewhere I can imagine him going, but I think he'll get his move to Arsenal. George, what do you think?
Exact same as you, Arsenal. He's just the type of person to be playing for Arsenal. He's just a brilliant player.
Right, next on the list, we've got Everton, who've a team who we actually think will be quite good in 5 years, so that's why we're putting a few players at Everton. Their best player now, in my opinion, is Richarlison, and I put Richarlison at Barcelona. He won't be starting for Barcelona week in, week out, in my opinion, but in the transfer window in January, it was either on deadline day or in the last few days, Barcelona bidded 85 million for Richarlison, and it was rejected really quickly. So I think Richarlison will get his move to Barcelona, but he won't be a starter because obviously we know how good Barca are. George, where have you put Richarlison?
Barcelona as well. I just think 85 million bids, he'll probably be going there for more.
Okay, next one. We've got Leicester, and someone who I already mentioned in this video is James Maddison. I said in the last video, when I was doing an England video with Harry, I said James Maddison's got to be in the England squad this year, and he has got to be, but that video's not focused on this. So I think James Maddison will be at Man City, just because we know how good Man City are, and we know they've obviously proved that they can buy Leicester's best players in the past, as they did with Riyad Mahrez. So yeah, James Maddison at Man City. Where do you think, George?
I think Man United. If you don't know, they put Lingard plus 45 million, and I just think he's not even worth that really. Lingard, bad, but you'll argue with Jamie Vardy. Obviously, he'll be retired. James Maddison, I think he's their best player. I think he'll be at Man United.
Right, next one. We've got Man City, obviously great club in the past few years. It could be Aguero's the best player, but we put Kevin De Bruyne down just because of how good of a player he actually is. And I've put Real Madrid down for him. I would have actually said for him to be loyal and stay at Man City if they hadn't got their 2-year Champions League ban. But now they've got that, I think he'll be out his door, maybe not this summer, but if appeal doesn't go Man City's way, then he'll be out the door eventually in some time in this next 5 years. George, where have you put De Bruyne?
I think he'll stay at Man City just because I don't even think they'll get banned. I think the appeal will go right for City, but enough about that. This is 5 years. I think he'll stay at Man City. He's brilliant. He's just proved how good he is there, so I think he'll stay at Man City.
Next one's our club, Newcastle United. Best player at Newcastle at the minute, there's a few options, obviously with St Maximin, Dubravka, Almiron, but we'll put St Maximin down just because of how good of a player he is. And St Maximin would not disappoint if he's at a club like PSG, and I've put him down at PSG. Obviously he's from France. George, where have you put St Maximum?
Put him at Atletico Madrid, and he's, as you know, St Maxim, he's only 22, if you didn't know that, but Atletico Madrid, I feel St Maxim will be there, and he's got a lot of potential. I think he might be in their starting 11, to be honest, but I think he'll be at Atletico Madrid. He's the type of person to go there.
Right, next one, Norwich, probably going to get relegated this season. Think they're a top 26 club, if you know what I mean. Like, they'll have a few down, up, you know what I mean. And we'll put Cantwell as their best player. But, George, where have you put Cantwell in 5 years?
I have put Cantwell at Southampton. I don't think he'll probably be a rotation type player. I don't even know if he's Norwich's best player, but obviously we're not going to figure out where Pookie will be in 5 years, are we? So yeah, I think he'll be a rotation player for Southampton. He's still got potential, and I think he'll be at Southampton.
Yeah, as George said, he's got a lot of potential. He's still young. He'll stay in the Premier League. Well, I don't know if he will this season, but in the future, I think he'll definitely get his move to the Premier League rather than going up and down with Norwich. So I'll put him at Everton. I don't know if he'll be starting week in, week out, but could be. The next on the list, Sheffield United. Who have you put, George?
Sheffield United, Dean Henderson. I think he'll be back at Man U, even though I don't even know if he's better than De Gea yet, but I think he'll go at Man U and he'll be there in 5 years. I think he'll be their starter. Just how good he is at Sheffield United this season. But Dean Henderson, I think he'll probably go on loan for a bit if he's not getting any game time because of De Gea, but Dean Henderson.
Well, I've got a lot to talk about Dean Henderson because there's a lot. He's currently on loan from Man U at Sheffield United, and he definitely needs a call up for England this year. He's been very good for Sheffield United, and when De Gea leaves Man U eventually, I think he'll be starting week in, week out for Man U and doing good in goal. Next, we've got Southampton, and the player we've selected is a brilliant English free kick taker, James Ward-Prowse. I've put James Ward-Prowse at Chelsea. He deserves to be at a big club. He's a very good player in my opinion from the midfield. That's all I'm going to say for James Ward-Prowse. What have you put, George?
I've put at Liverpool, just because I don't think he'll be in the starting 11, and he's still got potential. He'll be 29 then, which means he's 24 now. Liverpool have proved they can make people good that they've signed from Southampton.
They've signed many players from Southampton in the past. I think there's about 5 or 6 players. Next is Spurs. Harry Kane's obviously the best player at Spurs. England captain, Spurs captain, brilliant striker, arguably the best striker in the world. I think he'll definitely stay at Spurs. Not many English players get to different countries. Not many of English best players really go to different countries. I don't really think he'll go anywhere else in England, and I think he'll stay at Spurs. So where have you put Kane, George?
Put him at Real Madrid. He's been linked there in the past, and the sign just every good player normally Real Madrid. So he's been linked there in the past. I think he'll be very good there.
Okay, next is Watford, and it's the man that broke Liverpool's unbeaten streak. I forgot his first name, I know
Ismail.
what it is, but I can't really pronounce it. It's Saw. Scored 2 against Liverpool, what was insane to break the unbeaten streak. And I think he'll be at Wolves. It just sounds like a really sore club, doesn't it? Like, when Traore leaves, they've been linked with St Maximin, but I don't really think that'll happen, and I think it'll be saw that goes there, because he deserves a bit better club. He doesn't really deserve like the massive Man Cities, Chelsea's, but Wolves proved they're a very good club in the last like 2 years, in the top 6 in the Premier League. Yeah, so where have you put them?
But Everton, I think Everton will be really good in 5 years. Obviously, they've got potential players like Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, Holgate, but I think he'll be at Everton because I think they'll be very good in 5 years after Ancelotti.
Next is West Ham, and it was very hard to choose their best player, but we decided on Declan Rice. And I've put him at Chelsea. It's the club he kind of grew up supporting. Then he went to West Ham and he's proved that he's a good youngster. A lot of fans want him to be in the England squad, but I think he'll find his move to Chelsea eventually, and when West Ham get relegated. I think West Ham will get relegated this season, to be honest. Sorry, West Ham fans. Where have you put Declan Rice, Sean?
I've put him at Everton, as I said with Saw. They'll be really good in 5 years, and I think they'll sign all the potential players and keep players like Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, and...
Well, you said Richarlison will leave.
I know, but I don't know about that one. But I think he'll go to Everton.
Right, last one on the list, it's Wolves. And it was very hard to pick Wolves as best player because they have got some good players like. But we decided on Ruben Neves, the Portuguese player. And I've put him at Liverpool just because Liverpool, they only have one player really in their main starting 11 who's under 25 years old, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold. All the other players really in the main team will be 30 or 31 or 32 by then, so they're going to have to sign some new players quickly. Well, not too quick, but Neves, still young, he's proved what he can do at Wolves. And yeah, Liverpool sounds about right. Where have you put Neves?
Atletico Madrid, obviously they've absolutely proved themselves against Liverpool in the Champions League, and I think he'll be at Atletico because of all like potential and stuff like that, and they'll make a massive signing of Neves.
Right, guys, who would you change in this video? So we're saying bye. And you might have realised me and George did forget Liverpool and Man U in this video. So by the way, we both put Van Dijk at Liverpool, staying at Liverpool and staying loyal because he has did brilliant there. And for Man U, George put De Gea at Real Madrid and I put him at Paris, mainly just because Paris have changed their goalkeepers a lot in the last 5 years, so yeah.